Hi, everyone.
Hi
Can you hear
Tina,
me?
how are you?
Hi, Anna. Apologies for the delay.
No worries.
Should I give everyone a couple of minutes? I think there were some challenges in getting to the appropriate room, so
Yeah, it can be a little confusing. We can give everyone another minute.
great.
Hi, Tina. Can you hear us?
I can. Hi, Julia. Nice to see you. And most importantly, I see
Thank
Chef
you
Elle
for
Simone
hosting.
here. Welcome.
Hi, thanks, Tina.
Nice to see you as well.
You too.
Hi, Chef. Thank you for coming.
Hi, Julia. Thanks for having me. I'm so excited to talk about fall food trends.
Well, let's take it away. So thank you all for joining our breakout room. And great to see you, Julia, and Chef Elle Simone. Thank you for joining us. My name is Tina Vitale. I'm with UMB Bank. I'm a Boston Gathering Committee member. I was pleased to be introduced to Tina's Wish when I moved to the Boston area 2 years ago from Canada, courtesy of Julia Frost, who you just heard from, Davis at Morgan Lewis. It has been an actual very personal experience for me and a pleasure, an absolute pleasure to support a dynamic and professional organization working towards a terrific cause with great research, great women, and simply a great team here at Tina's Wish. Before we speak with Chef Simone, I'd like to give an update on the total amount raised so far towards the Brosman Family Matching Grant. We are now at an impressive 8,100 additional. So it's if you haven't already, it's not too late to show your support. I think we heard in the main room, but I'll give it to you again. You can visit tinaswish.org/Boston Match, or alternatively, you can check the chat for the direct link as well. An early detection test for ovarian cancer has the potential to save more than 150,000 lives per year. I think we heard that earlier, and it's actually an incredible number that we're working towards in research. We appreciate each and everyone's support of the tremendous work and research done at Tina's Wish. And with that, I see Chef Elle Simone is ready for us. Nice to see you and meet for the first time.
Yeah.
Before we get into the substance and the chat that we have set up, I'd like to hear, if you don't mind, just setting out some background and what drew specifically your interest to Tina's Wish.
Absolutely. I'm a Detroit native. I currently live in Boston. I've been here 5 years. And in 2016, I was first diagnosed with ovarian cancer. And I think I spent the first year of recovery, treatment, and healing alone. And maybe a year or so after that, I was at the Massachusetts Conference for Women, which is where I encountered the National Ovarian Cancer Coalition. And I'm an active volunteer and member of that organization. It got me curious as to what other organizations were out in the world, especially in the Metro Boston area. And while I had not found Tina's Wish, somehow Tina's Wish found me. And when I heard the story about Tina, not only the legacy that she lives in the area of law and in the world for justice in general, but just her passion for finding early detection and cure, and for women who are enduring ovarian cancer and and women's cancers in general. I was just very driven by a person who leaves a legacy like that. When you're going through your most vulnerable moments, it's possible to step outside of yourself and still be thinking of others, right? It feels hard when you're in the moment, but that type of selflessness and compassion was not something I could just turn away from. And so Tina's Wish has grown to mean a lot to me. So much so that anytime Tina's Wish calls, I say yes. I put everything down and I absolutely say yes. So that's why I'm here today. I share Tina's passion. I share the passion of everyone who's in this room, who are in these various Zoom rooms. You know, we are fed up with not being able to detect this cancer in an early enough stage to be saving lives at a quicker rate, right? Like, it has definitely improved over the years, and it has been due to the generous help of those who have hearts like us who are here in this room. And I want to continue to contribute to that mission and that passion in any way that I can. And if it means talking about butternut squash, then if I have to, I'm gonna do it.
Well, thank you for sharing that that story, and congratulations to you on your success,
Thank you.
personally and professionally. So,
Thank you so much.
going back a little bit, what inspired you to first become a chef?
Honestly, unemployment. I know it's a weird answer, but cooking had always been something I enjoy with my family. I always make the joke, and although it's a true statement, I'm not the best cook in my family. I'm the only one who pursued it professionally, right? So I come from a family of very good cooks. And it was just something that I enjoyed. It was just it's like brushing your teeth. It was just something that I did. You know, you have to do it every day, but I really loved it. But when the recession hit in the early 2000s, I was in the nonprofit sector. You know, I'm a social worker by trade originally, and a lot of the nonprofit organizations lost funding, and I needed to, you know, I needed to decide what I wanted my future to look like. And I was not too far out of college at that point, and I think it dawned on me very early that I should do something that I love, right? And so I always kind of had a little moonlighting gig at a restaurant, you know, because you get free dinner, right? And, you know, when you're young and fresh out of college and, you know, you're recovering from paying for your degree, you want as many free meals as possible. But it turned out to be something that I could actually deeply lean into. You know, I would only do front of the house work because it just kind of worked with my life. But given the opportunity to get in the kitchen, it reminded me how much I loved it deeply in my heart, and also that like I could actually do this for a living, and that's how it started. You know, it was like really a moment of I wouldn't go as far as saying desperation, but you know, like at a moment when the climate was very murky for a lot of us, you know, I was able to find my life's work.
Interesting. And so, what were some of your favorite dishes that you began and then improved upon and still take with you, fall dishes or otherwise, that
Yeah,
you can share with the
okay.
team?
Some of my favorite dishes to cook. I really love comfort food in general. So fall foods are totally my bag, right? I'm a fall baby. I was born November 28th. So, you know, it's kind of my season all the way around. But some of the foods that I like to make are, I love making black eyed peas. I'm a legumes lady. I love a butter bean, a black eyed pea with some cornbread, maybe a little buttermilk. Those are some favorites. I have a puppy, so she's a little
That sounds
anxious.
great.
Um,
No worries.
let's see. I love braising meats, right? Like I love pot roast and big meats that require very little hands-on time, right? You know, prime ribs, you can kind of put in the oven low and slow. Casseroles. Oh, I think my grandmother used to make a casserole, corn pudding, right? I think I've perfected corn pudding enough that it's actually been published in a cookbook. So I'm quite proud of that. And it's
Well, these
so
all sound
simple.
delicious, and I'm wondering if recipes are available, or is if, for those on listening in as well as myself who
Sure. I mean, well,
may
okay,
not be as
so
familiar with some of these great dishes.
some of these recipes, these things that I'm mentioning to you, like my down home classic favorites, there's no recipe. You like, you know, it's taught in the way of you put the beans in the pot, you just cover it with just enough water, simmer low and slow, put in your favorite smoked meat, let it cook for 2 hours, right? It, you know, these
You need to
recipes
know
are,
it.
they're ones you can find on the internet, right? Like making black eyed peas or butter beans. You can just find any good recipe. It's the thing about these heirloom recipes, we call them, is that you kind of have to cook it enough that you start to put your spin on it, right? Like you know the seasonings you like, you know the things you don't like, you know, not this toy, my dear. And you know, those are kind of things that you can kind of, you know, figure out on your own. But I do have some dishes that I make, some things from our America's Test Kitchen arsenal that I will definitely share the website for you. Yeah, so you can look. We have a host of amazing free access recipes. Everything's behind a paywall now. If you cook for real, I highly recommend, you know, subscribing to the website and really getting in. But
in a slightly different direction, I was asked as well about before our chat whether you have fall cocktails that you would recommend and also be able to share with us as recommendations.
Oh, absolutely. Mocktails are kind of in right now. You know, a lot of people are into mocktails. I really love, we have a hibiscus tea mocktail, right? That is super simple to make.
Interesting.
Any recipe I mention right now, when I give you one link, you can find them all. So don't worry.
Okay.
And it's simply just buying the hibiscus tea bags, steeping them just the right amount of time. In the fall, I typically lean towards like good brown, you know, beverages. Like I love a good dark and stormy, which is, you know, rum and ginger beer. You know, these are things that I keep in the house in the fall. I love a warm ginger beer because even when it's cold, it's still warm going down. Keep rum. Rum is always something great. You can make hot toddies, right? Don't wait until you're not feeling well to have a hot toddy. It's Wednesday. Have a hot toddy. Let's call it maintenance, right? Let's not drink it when we're getting sick. Let's drink it to keep from getting sick. Let's see what else.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, definitely rums, bourbons, scotches. These are all really good base beverages to have, and you can make wonderful, adding dried apples to them, adding cinnamon sticks to them to warm them. Lots of things you can do, adding cranberries to your cocktails, you know, all of these kind of fall staple items really can ginger up your cocktail quite a bit.
So I know you're a food stylist as well as part of your repertoire and profession. And can you share some fall food styling ideas as we try to impress our family and friends for Thanksgiving, etc.?
Yeah. Some of the things I really like to do when I'm out shopping for entertaining, I really just kind of for my home, some simple things you can do, just picking up the flowers that are currently in your market, right? Yeah. Usually those flowers are always seasonal, especially, and this is not a plug, I have no affiliation, but Trader Joe's always has great seasonal dry flowers, and so does Whole Foods. I use those dry flowers for centerpieces on platters. You can also use fresh herbs, right? If you want to garnish, you can. I use a lot of thyme. I use rosemary. Let's see what else. You know, like using the ingredients in your dish. You know, I usually chop parsley and put it on top of like my stew. You can always garnish with parsley leaves. You know, there's so many options.
Great.
And so that's great ways to garnish your. Oh, and dry fruits, of course, pomegranates. I always garnish my turkey with I will grill some pear halves, and I'll also crack open some pomegranates with the seed sides open. They make beautiful garnishes.
Wow, those sound like terrific ideas. Thank you. I wanted to give an opportunity to those on the line in the room to ask questions. So if you'd like to do that, feel free to unmute yourselves.
So I'd like to know, I heard about the garnishes, which I think I'll try, but what are some side dishes that you would recommend, like in preparing a Thanksgiving meal? Something different.
Oh, that's a great question, Janice. Let's see, some different, okay, so some things that you never see at Thanksgiving, but totally go for Thanksgiving or whatever holiday you want, right? Like People often make candied yams. Sometimes just making baked sweet potatoes. We have a recipe at ATK called Best Baked Sweet Potatoes, and it'll be on the link. You'll love it. Also, some easy sides I really love to do. Just cutting up into maybe a medium dice, right? They don't have to be super uniform, but as close as possible. Any root vegetables. My favorite go-to is doing large diced butternut squash, because you roast it, and then when you take it out of the oven, you can just melt some butter until it's brown, put some sage leaves in there, and then you have like brown butter sage butternut squash. Super simple. It tastes elegant. It looks great, especially with the sage leaves that have been cooked in the butter. It's a gorgeous natural garnish. So easy. You can do that with any pumpkin, any squash, any potato, tossing it in a brown butter. You can add maple syrup to it and cinnamon. Side dishes don't have to be really complicated. It's a matter of just like, what cut do you want to use? And then what flavor do you want to toss it in once it's done?
Sick of that green bean casserole.
That was a great question, Janice. Thank you.
For those of us who are not as skilled in the kitchen or don't have the time, how about restaurant recommendations, perhaps maybe even some of your she chef, sorry, that's a hard one, who sells shells by the seashore, proteges that you would make a recommendation for?
That is a really good question. The unfortunate answer is that there are not a lot of women of color who are restaurant owners in Boston. However, I will say Chef Sasha, spelled like Sasha, Sasha Coleman, Colman. She is a great chef to reach out to. She has a partner in food named Kai Davenport, and Kai does cocktails. So, and pairings, right? So if you are interested in having someone, even if you want a consulting, they are both very skilled. Sasha actually just joined us at America's Test Kitchen, which I'm very excited about. She's also a James Beard Award nominated chef. So you'll be in good hands if you reach out to Miss Sasha Coleman. Now, if you're not much of a cook, here are my hacks, because as an ovarian cancer survivor, I like to call myself a thriver. I'm currently on my 3rd recurrence, but I am living and thriving. My go-to hacks are Trader Joe's, right? Like, I go to a place that has like great frozen butternut squash ravioli. You can make that brown butter sauce, right? They also have great stuffings. I totally lived by Trader Joe's mac and cheese. You could pretty much do your whole Thanksgiving dinner there. An ATK tip, though, we have a new recipe for spatchcock turkey. Does anybody know what that means? No? Okay. So when you split the bird down the breastbone and you break it open so it lays flat, that's called spatchcock. And usually it's done with chicken, but spatchcocking your turkey takes the guesswork out of, is my turkey done? Or do I have moist pieces and dry pieces? It actually gives you like the most uniform, delicious moist turkey you've ever had. And it definitely makes that turkey experience so much more simple and less intimidating. I mean, I've been cooking for over 15 years and I still get the heebie-jeebies when I think about having to cook a turkey. Also, and one last hack. Honey Baked Ham has honey glazed turkey now, right? And you can get it sliced by the breast. It is phenomenal. So if you want a quick and easy dinner, do not tell my boss at America's Test Kitchen that I told you these things, but do these things. Go get these things. They enhance the meal. Sometimes making your turkey is the only thing you really want to make. You can get great sides from anywhere. Get some frozen apple pies, make your own beautiful sugar butter topping, and make it special. I think cooking should not be about making you miserable. I think you should enjoy it, and whatever you need to do to make it an enjoyable situation for you is what you should do.
Chef, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi.
We
So
can
my
hear
name's
you. Hi,
Julia
Julia.
Seth Davies. Hi,
Hi.
Tina. Thank you, Tina, so much for doing this. And I see Kitty Smith is here. And so Kitty's husband, Ed, and I were partners with Tina Brosman, our late partner. And so we want to thank you so much for being here, Chef. And so I have like a little curveball question, which is I'm a vegetarian.
Okay.
So going into Thanksgiving, if I don't want to be eating like the salads and just the sides, what are your favorite really savory vegetarian meals that you can throw on a Thanksgiving table?
Let me see. My favorite vegetarian meals. I love making oh, sorry, honey. So I make this. I grew up 7-day Adventist, right? And I don't know if many people have heard of it, but we don't eat pork, and a lot of people are vegetarians, right? I started to make these veggie loaves that are made with like a combination of mushrooms and bread. You know, it's kind of like a bread pudding, but it's made with mushrooms. That's one of my favorites. I also do stuffed portobello mushroom caps. I love to do that. Yep. And sometimes, you know, if I'm feeling extremely gluttonous, I will I will pile a bunch of Thanksgiving leftovers in a mushroom cap. It's like nothing you've ever had. I'm also I'm very much not traditional for holidays. Like I will put, because a lot of my family members are vegetarians, we don't always have that by the book holiday meal, you know. We have most of our meals are primarily, you know, vegetarian based meals, but I think for the vegetarian, I've leaned so far away from like I call them synthetic proteins, and that's not a judgment, that's just what they are, like soy-based things, especially, you know, being an ovarian cancer survivor, I'm very careful about those sorts of things. So what I try to do is just not make boring vegetables. I have a recipe at America's Test Kitchen for pan fried Brussels sprouts. And it's a very weird recipe because it calls for like 6 tablespoons of olive oil, but it's like the perfect browning. And it actually has 3 different variations for sauces to top it in, right? Things that you wouldn't necessarily expect. Maple bacon. There's one with Korean gochujang. You know, just not making those same old boring vegetables. You know, I think it was Janice who said we don't want to eat anymore. We don't want any more string bean casserole. Although I do very much love string bean casserole. But you know, when you're, you know, vegetarian, you don't want to see the same things over and over again. I do challenge people to, you know, explore as many proteins as possible in alternative proteins, and mushroom is my favorite go-to.
Thank you, Chef.
Chef Elle.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you for all these tips and recipes, and we look forward to receiving your link to more of them. I wanted to just highlight an update from Tina's Wish. We exceeded the match challenge and have raised over $21,000 for a grand total, very impressive, over 91,000. So quite amazing. And again, I appreciate.
Tina, can I add something
yes.
here real quick?
Sure, of course.
So this is apropos of not that much, but since we started, because I was one of the original founders of Tina's Wish, along with Kitty's husband and some others. And we have our major thing in New York, but we also have this thing going on with Virginia, where Virginia does their thing and Boston does. I think we just kicked Virginia's butt with that.
Is that right?
Yeah,
Good.
Anna, am I right?
Oh.
Did we just, and they were in person this year and we had to go virtual, and Anna's telling me, I think with that number, Boston just kicked Virginia's butt.
Yeah, I will say we had an in-person event for Virginia, and I think they came in around 80,000. So yeah.
So Boston still has the bragging rights, even though we were virtual. And so
Definitely.
Go Northeast, go Boston. We're live next year in the spring, and we'll bring our friends from the South up and make them up their game.
Exactly.
Thank you, everyone.
There's tremendous support. So thank you. Thanks, Anna, as well.
Doug
for,
Rosner, hello and
helping
wave
us.
and hello for me. You're so quiet through all this. Hello, Doug. You're never quiet.
I've muted myself so I wouldn't talk. And now you've made me unmute.
You have to teach me. I don't know how to do that.
Hello, Amanda, as well. I see you in the bottom. I just saw you. So, and Pam is here. Yeah.
Oh, there's Amanda. Hi. Yeah.
Hello. How are you?
Good. Good. Thank you, everyone, so much. Thank you for all this. I mean, what Kevin and Dipanjan are talking about is really bringing this where we want to be. Chef, you didn't know Tina. She was not mad she had cancer. She was mad they didn't find it earlier. And that is what we are here for. And that is what our researchers are doing. And you guys are supporting that. And thank you so much.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks again,
Bye-bye.
Chappelle, for your time. Bye.
Thanks.
Bye.